There are battles in life that cannot be seen with the eyes, yet their effects are felt deeply in the mind, in decisions, in habits, and in the direction of a person's life. Many people sense this tension but struggle to explain it. Why do certain thoughts feel so persistent? Why do some patterns feel so hard to break? And why does it sometimes feel like something is quietly working against your growth? The Bible does not ignore this reality. It speaks about spiritual warfare with clarity, not to create fear, but to reveal truth. Because when you understand what is really happening, you begin to move differently. Today, we are uncovering 5 powerful truths, secrets that darkness would rather you never fully understand, because once you do, your perspective changes and your power shifts. The first truth is this: the real battle begins in the mind. In Genesis 3, the story of Adam and Eve does not begin with action, it begins with a conversation. The serpent approaches Eve not with force but with suggestion. Genesis 3:1 says, "Did God really say?" That question was subtle, but it introduced doubt. It shifted focus from truth to uncertainty. Eve was not overpowered. She was persuaded. The attack targeted her thoughts before it ever touched her actions. This reveals something critical. Many of the struggles people face today do not start externally. They start internally in thoughts that seem small but grow over time. A negative idea, a repeated doubt, a distorted belief. Left unchecked, these thoughts shape decisions. The lesson here is awareness. Not every thought deserves your agreement. In modern life, this shows up in quiet ways. You might hear a thought that says you are not good enough, that you will never change, that your situation is permanent. But where did that thought come from, and why does it repeat itself? This is a moment to reflect. What kind of thoughts do you entertain daily? If you are honest, drop a comment about one thought pattern you are learning to challenge. You might discover that many others are facing the same thing. The second truth is this: isolation increases vulnerability. Consider the story of Elijah in 1 Kings 19. Elijah had just experienced a powerful victory, calling down fire from heaven in front of the prophets of Baal. Yet shortly after, he found himself running, afraid, and alone. In 1 Kings 19:4, Elijah says, "I have had enough, Lord, take my life." This is a man who had seen miracles, now speaking from a place of deep discouragement. What changed? He became isolated, his perspective narrowed, his strength weakened. But God's response is important. Instead of condemning Elijah, God restores him. He provides rest, food, and then speaks truth to him, reminding him that he is not alone. The lesson here is simple but powerful. When you withdraw too much, when you carry everything alone, your thoughts can become distorted. Isolation often amplifies fear, doubt, and negative patterns. In today's world, this can look like withdrawing from meaningful connection, staying in your own head, or avoiding conversations that could bring clarity. Strength is not just built in solitude, it is also sustained in connection. The third truth is this: small compromises create bigger openings. The story of Samson illustrates this clearly. Samson was chosen and empowered by God, given incredible strength. But his downfall did not happen in a single moment. It was gradual. In Judges 16, Samson repeatedly entertains Delilah's questions about the source of his strength. Each time, he gets closer to revealing the truth. Eventually, he gives in completely. Judges 16:17 says, "So he told her everything." That moment was not sudden. It was the result of repeated small compromises. The lesson here is that what seems small can become significant over time. Patterns are built through repetition. In modern terms, this could be habits you tolerate, boundaries you slowly lower, or decisions you justify because they seem minor. Over time, they shape your direction. So the question becomes, what small compromises are you allowing that could be leading somewhere bigger? The fourth truth is this: identity determines authority. When Jesus was tempted in the wilderness, the enemy's strategy was not random. In Matthew 4:3, the tempter says, "If you are the Son of God," notice the focus. It was on identity. Jesus responds each time with truth. He does not argue emotionally. He speaks with clarity, grounded in what is already established. Matthew 4:4 says, "Man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God." The lesson here is powerful. When you know who you are, confusion loses its grip. Many struggles persist because identity is unclear. When you are unsure of your value, your purpose, or your direction, it becomes easier to be influenced. In today's context, this can look like constantly seeking validation, comparing yourself to others, or defining your worth based on external factors. But when identity is grounded, decisions become clearer. Take a moment to think, how do you currently define yourself, and where does that definition come from? The fifth truth is this: resistance is possible and victory is not out of reach. In James 4:7 it says, "Submit yourselves then to God, resist the devil and he will flee from you." This is not passive language, it is active. It shows that there is a role you play. Resistance is not about perfection, it is about consistency. Look at the story of Job. Job faced loss, confusion, and deep suffering. Yet in Job 1:22 it says, "In all this, Job did not sin by charging God with wrongdoing." He did not fully understand what was happening, but he remained grounded. The lesson here is endurance. Not every battle is won instantly. Some require patience, persistence, and trust. In modern life, this could mean continuing to choose discipline over impulse, truth over negative thinking, and growth over comfort, even when results are not immediate. As you reflect on these truths, notice the pattern. The battle is not always loud. It is often subtle. It works through thoughts, isolation, small decisions, identity, and persistence. But here is the deeper message: awareness changes everything. When you understand how these patterns work, you begin to recognize them early. You respond differently. You move with intention instead of reaction. So where does this leave you? Take a moment to reflect on your own life. Which of these areas stands out the most to you right now? Is it your thoughts, your environment, your habits, your identity, or your consistency? Growth begins with awareness, but it continues with action. As we come to the end, remember this: you are not powerless in this process. You are not stuck. Every day presents a new opportunity to think differently, choose differently, and move forward with clarity. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to reflect on it deeply. Share your thoughts in the comments, especially which of these truths impacted you the most. Someone else might read it and find encouragement. Share this with someone who needs clarity, and continue with the next video in this series, where we go deeper into how to build spiritual discipline and strengthen your mindset for lasting change. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. God bless you.